In previous part 1, we have studied some parameters for standardization of herbs as per WHO guideline. In continuation to part 1, now we are starting part 2 of the same. Now here we'll see hemolytic activities. Hemolytic activities, so many drugs they contain saponin glycosides. These saponin glycosides they are showing hemolytic effect, toxic effect. So number of medicinal plants belonging to family Cryophyllaceae, Araliaceae, Spendiaceae, Primulaceae and Dioscoriaceae contain saponin. So most characteristic property of saponin is their ability to cause hemolysis. That's why they are known as fish poison also. When added to a suspension of blood, saponin produces change in erythrocyte membrane, causing hemoglobin to diffuse into the surrounding medium. So hemolytic activity of plant material or a preparation containing saponin is determined by the comparison with that of a reference material saponin R, which is a hemolytic activity of 1000 units per gram. Second is determination of tannins. So these tannins just they are present in certain drugs like catechu, amla. So these tannins are capable of turning off animal hides into leather. They convert animal skin into the leather, hence they are useful in leather industry. Their main work is protein precipitation. They bind protein to form water insoluble substance that are resist to proteolytic enzyme. So this process when applied to a living tissue is known as astringent action and reason for the therapeutic application of these tannins. So these tannins they are present in tea, then catechu, amla, so many other things, plants are there. So chemically, tannins are complex substance, usually occur as mixture of polyphenols that are difficult to separate. So these tannins, they are hydrolyzable tannins, then condensed tannin or non-hydrolyzed tannins, complex tannins. So these tannins are also, if they are present, so they create a problem. They convert animal skins to the leather. So that's we have to check its limit. Then swelling index like acacia or guar gum or isabgol. So these drugs they are swell up when taken. So again when we are going for various formulations, if these drugs are present then your formulation will be disturbed. So we have to check swelling index. So swelling index is the volume in ml taken by the swelling of 1 gram of plant material under specified condition. It is determined on basis of the addition of water or swelling agent as is specified in the test produced for each individual plant, either whole, cut or pulverized. Whole is isabgol seed or isabgol husk, or we can go gums, acacia gum, tragacanth gum, guar gum, so many other things are there. So this then third parameter is foaming index. So these saponins, just previously I have seen, these saponins they are also having a one property of producing foams. So many medicinal plants which contain saponin, if they are soaked in a water and then shaken, so echo decoction is they produce permanent froth. So this froth again, if we are preparing any liquid preparation, then saponin is present, then your preparation will having a permanent froth or foam is formed, which is retained for hours. So we have to check whether foaming ability of a decoction of a plant material and their extract is measured in terms of foaming index. So we have to calculate the foaming index, and if it is more, then we have to minimize by the addition of various surface active agent or any other thing, because they produce problem in preparation of formulation. Then Most important is pesticidal ratio. So pesticidal, because when we are cultivating the plants, we to prevent the plant from various pests, various insect, rodents, weeds, we are using various chemicals which after the cultivation or when we are collecting the plant material like leaf, bark, fruit, seed, so many, so they contain these residues of pesticides, insecticide, germicide, fungicide. So we have to check whether these residues they are present within the limit or beyond the limit. If beyond the limits are there, then we have to discard that material. So these residues they should not more than 1%. Hmm? So an ARN means approximate, which is available in 1 gram of pesticide per kg of plant material can be calculated on the basis of maximum acceptable daily intake of the pesticide for human. ADI is maximum acceptable daily intake as recommended by WHO, and the mean daily intake MDI of the plant medicinal plant material. This can be calculated. Average residual limit is ADI multiplied by E upon 60 divided by MDI multiplied by 100, where ADI is maximum acceptable daily intake of pesticide, that is milligram per kg of body weight. E is extraction factor, which determines the transition rate of the pesticide from the plant material into dosage form, and MDI is mean daily intake of medicinal plant product. Then some pesticides which we are using, carbonated hydrocarbons and related pesticides, BSC, DDT, chlorinated phenoxyphonic acid herbicide 2,4-D, 2,4-D, 5-T, organophosphorus pesticide, malathion, parathion, then carbamate insecticide, carbide, then carbamate fungicide, then inorganic pesticide like calcium arsenate, lead arsenate, miscellaneous ethylene dibromide, ethylene oxide, methyl bromide, then pesticides from natural origin like tobacco leaf, nicotine, pyrethrum flowers. So these we are making use as in pesticides or insecticide, herbicide, so they are residual. So this can be determined. Determination I have already discussed. Then determination of arsenic and heavy metals. So arsenic and heavy metal again they are from in our pharmaceutical we have pharmaceutical chemistry already we have discussed limit test for these heavy metals. They produce adverse effect on the formulations, and if they are present then they prove toxicity in our body. So these heavy metals they attribute to many causes including environmental and traces. So limit for arsenic, limits for cadmium, lead. So we can see they should be present within the limit. If they are present beyond the limit, they are drug may be discarded. So inversely voluntary or by the atomic immersion respective, we can check the following maximum amount in the dried plant material, which is based on ADI values, means acceptable daily limit, which is a so lead is having a limit of 10 milligram per kg weight. Cadmium is 0.5 milligram per kg weight. Then we have to go for determination of microorganism also. These microorganisms they also produce adverse effect in our body as well as in the preparation. So, these test microorganisms E. coli, Pseudomonas, then Salmonella typhi, Salmonella, Streptococcus aureus. So they are the specific strains. This type of strain only they are harmful. So suppose we see NCLMV8545. So The medium for their growth is lactose growth, Pseudomonas, and so these are the strain, and this is the medium given for their, and these are the, this is the plates where we have grown the colonies for the species. So we see, check whether they are present within the limits or beyond the limit. These are the limits for microbial contamination in finished product as well as in raw material. So E. coli 10 to the power 1 should be present in the finished, while it should be present 10 to the power 4 in raw material. Salmonella, there is no limit. Total aerobic bacteria for raw material, no limit. For finished product, it may be 10 to the power 3. Enterobacter 10 to the power 3, and for raw material, there is no limit. They should not be present there. Then aflatoxins. These are also mycotoxins produced by mainly by Aspergillus flavus and Aspergillus parasiticus. So they are also harmful, and there are two strains are there. Means aflatoxin can be determined by the chromatograph method using standard aflatoxin B1, B2 and G1, G2 mixtures. The limit IPs is showing not more than 2 microgram per kg of B1 and total aflatoxin up to 4 microgram per kg, while in USP the limit is 5, not more than 5 part per billion. ppb, 5 part per billion of aflatoxins B1 and total aflatoxin 20 part per billion is the limit. If they are present within this, you can use, otherwise you have to discard the material. Then we have also go for radioactive contamination. Radioactive contamination, radionuclei, we are using, as I told you, we are using various insecticide, rodenticide, they are the isomers. So from there we are, the radionuclei may be released into the environment as a result of nuclear accident, might include long-lived and short-lived fusion product, actinides and activation product. Microbial growth in herbal is usually avoided by the irradiation. This process you may use sterile the plant material, but the radioactive hazard should be taken into account. So in nature, the intensity of the radionuclide releases from various mark and depend on the sources, reactor, reprocessing plant, fuel, fabrication plant, isotope production unit. So these can be checked before the preparation as per the international guideline provided by the International Atomic Center. Then we also go for chromatographic techniques. So separation, identification, impurity detection and assay of herbal drug in the formulation or in the extract are carried out by the TLC, thin layer chromatography, HPLC, high performance thin layer chromatography, high pressure liquid chromatography, densitometric chromatography, GLC, gas liquid chromatography. So various chromatographic techniques are there. Paper chromatography is there, column chromatography. So depending on the nature of the material which we have to extract, separate, we make use of that techniques. So just we'll see TLC fingerprints, profile of methanoic extract of Oceanium pensentrum. So detection, these are the TLC plates. If we are detecting under UV 366 mm, we are getting such type of color bands. See here, color bands are there, separation layers are there, are visible. So many zones are available. Under UV 254 nanometers, again we will see various types of color bands. Under visible light, just such type of color bands we are getting. So we are making use of this chromatographic technique also. With HPTLC will see again barberin in different market sample. So various types of color bands we are getting, and by calculating the RF is the retention factor, distance traveled by the solute upon distance traveled by the solvent. So it is RF value is always less than 1. So while calculating this RF value, we are able to determine various component present in the mixture of extract. Then analytical specific. Now coming to the formulation product in tablet and pills, which type of standardization techniques we are making use of. So just description, morphologically, color radar, then weight variation of tablet or pills, then disintegration time, it should not more than 15 minutes, then identification by TLC, HPTLC, GLC, then we'll go for quantitative analysis assay, then test for heavy metals, toxic metal, lead, cadmium, mercury, arsenic, microbial contamination, total bacterial count, total fungal count, specific pathogenic test for E. coli, Salmonella, S. aureus, Pseudomonas, then pesticidal ratio, organochlorine pesticide, organophosphorus, pyrethroids, then aflatoxins B1, B2, G1, G2. Similarly, we will go for liquid orals. Again, description, color, odor. Here we will go for S value for extract with total content, then acid insoluble as water soluble extractive value, alcohol soluble, pH of the liquid, because pH plays an important role. So it should be pH should be isotonic to our body fluid, then total sugar content, viscosity, then identification by TLC, HPTLC, HPLC, heavy metals detection, lead, cadmium, mercury, arsenic, microbial contamination, total bacterial count, fungal count, specific pathogenic E. coli. A similar way we are performing. Then for spirituous preparations means ASA and arrest, the specific gravity at 250 degrees centigrade at 25 degrees, not 250, it is 25 degrees centigrade. Then alcohol content, test for methanol, total acidity, then test for reducing and non-reducing sugar, and, other specifications which we have seen in previous slide for liquid oral syrups and other. Then for powder preparations, chun, fine powder, quartz. So loss on drying, as we have discussed, we have to treat the sample at 105 degree for 30 minutes for up till the two readings become same. Then particle size determination for chun 80 to 100 mesh, for quartz chun which we have to take some we have to prepare some extraction. My particle size is 40 to 60 mesh. Then other specification which we have studied in Bhatti and Gutka, they are the same. Then acceptable limits for the products, parameters, microbial contamination, overall just we are seeing, this is the last slide for that, bacterial count, then yeast, mold, then E. coli, it should be absent in final product, Salmonella should be absent, P. aureus, S. aureus should be absent, Pseudomonas should be absent, pesticidal ratio which should be less than 1 part per million, heavy metals, lead within limit 10 part per million, mercury 1 part per million, arsenic 3 part per million, cadmium 0.3 part per million, aflatoxins here part per billion it is 0.5 part per billion for B1 and G1, and B2 and G2 is 0.1 part per billion, 0.1 part per billion. So this completes your standardization techniques for herbal drugs as per WHO and ICH manual. Thank you friends.